There's that humor. Bob Schieffer is here now along with Susan Page, Washington Bureau Chief for USA Today and author of The Matriarch, Barbara Bush, and the Making of an American Dynasty. Welcome to both of you. Bob, first I want to talk about President Bush's role in the fall of communism, because you talk about it in that piece. Reagan got the raise for saying, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, but Mr. Bush played a huge role.
Well, it all actually happened on George Bush's watch. And people were saying, you know, you should get out there and talk about how we whooped the communists and all that kind of stuff. And he said, no, we need to, this is, when the Berlin Wall fell, he said, this is a moment for Germany. He said, this is not a place where I should be right now. And because he was able to do that, to keep the damper down and keep this situation calm, we were able to deal with Gorbachev after that. You don't want to forget that, you know, Great Britain and France were not all that keen about reuniting Germany, but his hand slowly and carefully made it possible for that to happen, and it had to happen.
The moral fiber, Susan, that everyone's talked about here clearly affected his friendships but also his policy, not just foreign, but domestic.
You know, the attitude he brought to dealing with people, with reporters and with waiters and with sports stars, all the handwritten notes that people have talked about in the last few days, that is the same attitude he took to dealing with foreign leaders. And one of the things that he told his aides was he didn't want to have his first call to a foreign leader be one where it's a crisis or where he needed to ask for something. He wanted to have a relationship with that person beforehand, which is one reason he's had a practice of making calls to foreign leaders just to say, how you doing? How can I help? He had the other guy in mind. He wanted the other guy to feel like he or she could win in a way that also let the United States benefit.
Remarkable that somebody has a book of thank you notes, you know, right? And instead of writing an actual book about themselves, as Bob, we talked about last night. I mean, that was just the modesty.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to go in a house here in Washington, especially if they're Republicans, where you don't find a framed thank you note from George Bush. I mean, he really did this, and he had many, many friends. More friends, I think, than probably anybody that's held the office in modern times.
What a wonderful legacy. Bob Schieffer, Susan Page, thank you both very much. Hopefully we'll be seeing more of you in the coming days. Appreciate it.